Welcome back, everybody. This video will be a little messy, it'll be a little sloppy, but I care about this topic a lot, and I think it's best if I just ramble because I'm actually passionate about it because of how much it annoys me. So yeah, it's gonna be a little messy, maybe a little sloppy. Um, yeah, just don't hate on me. This is not gonna be the best one ever, but we're gonna have some fun. So sit back, get whatever snack you want, and let's just go at it. So in the last like half a year, a lot of people on places like TikTok, which speaking of my For You page has been terrible. It's been the worst. It's either someone trying to tell me something that should be on Temu, or I don't know, it's just terrible. It's just terrible. People reviewing Taco Bell and they're just it's just stuff I just don't like or care about. It's like my For You page just stopped caring about me. Like it used to be really dictated towards me. And like one in every 30 videos I like now. And I've just been using it to procrastinate, and I just can't even do that anymore because I dislike it so much. The only good things I get, like I said, one every 30 videos are what my girlfriend sends me, and I'm just like, wow. So yeah, TikTok, you have failed me. Instagram Reels failed me too, bro. I'm just gonna go on there if I want to see something, kind of funny or edgy or whatever. But yeah, I think short form content really doesn't dictate towards me because I don't know. I'm just more into podcasts and longer form things, and I'm getting into books again a little bit. Let's be honest. We're not reading like that, and we're listening to audiobooks. So I'm not the, you know, not acting like I'm being some scholar over here. I'm not being performative. We're gonna get to that. Yeah, let's just get off of this. TikTok, it's not been it. We're going to long form content. We are enriching our brains. But yes, performatism being performative. So a lot of people on TikTok and Instagram and young adults were like, we're not going to be performative. If we see someone at a Claro concert, if we see some man drinking matcha with a book in his hand with wired headphones, we're laughing at him. We're laughing at him. We're pointing. We're taking pictures. We're throwing tomatoes. And I agree. Let's do that. Let's do that. If we see someone faking, trying to be cool or trying to be popular or trying to be something like this, because it's pathetic. If we're just being straight up about it, a lot of these topics, I don't tiptoe, but I'm nicer about because it makes sense. This one is just pathetic. And I think being performative, oh, I was going to say, we're like, oh, we're not being nonchalant either. We're being chalant. We're being ourselves. We're being energetic. We're being happy. And I just don't think that's very true. I think people are almost like more performative now, but they're just kind of masking it better. But yes, I'll get to why I think that is. And so a lot of this comes from being children. When we're children, we don't know who we are. We want to fit in. We're in middle school. We're in high school. And, a lot of my stories today are going to come from high school, and I'll say why. I'm not just beating down on high schoolers or who I was in high school. But a lot of this comes from, oh, we want to fit in. Oh, we want to be popular. We're going through puberty. We're awkward. So we're lying. We're saying, oh, we like this band we don't listen to, or, oh, we like this movie we haven't watched. We're doing these things to, fit in. And we're posting things on our story, or we're buying shirts we don't like, but it's what everyone's wearing. It's very common. It makes sense. And, in high school, I was once at, you know, my brother was like, we were watching these fights, and some of his friends were over, and they were older. And this, guy's talking to me, and he's like, oh, that guy looks like this rapper. And I'm like, oh, yeah, he does. I had never seen that rapper before. I don't know what he looks like. I probably still don't. And then my brother was like, you don't know who that is? And I got super embarrassed, and my face turned red, like tomato red. It was like burning. And that would happen to me when I was younger. I would get so embarrassed, my face would turn red. It was like telling on myself or something. And yeah, it would happen a lot because I would act in ways like this that were just kind of lame or boring. Like it's boring to act that way. It's just kind of weird, but it makes sense when you're young like that. And we'll get to the issues with it now. But I had another buddy who, a friend at the time, who would just do whatever it took to get a girl, because I don't know, he just never really dated anyone growing up, and then you turn like a certain age and you're like, oh, I really want to date somebody. This is for both male and female, which, by the way, men are so bad at hiding that they're performative, and girls are just so much better at it for some reason. I don't know what it is. They're better at when it comes to movies and shows. Oh, yeah, I love Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't know, something like that. You know, it's just like, I don't know. They're so much better at it. And I feel like there's so much more media that's like for men and women in that way than it is like the other way around. Like when you hear a guy go, oh, I love Taylor Swift, you're like, okay, there's a 50-50 chance he's lying there. But when I don't know, you hear a girl say she loves, like, I don't know, Batman or something, like, you just don't know. You just don't know. So, yeah, I also think men are just dumb and, bad at hiding it, like how I was in high school. But yeah, it's just not being yourself. But yes, I had this one friend who would just, post any song and he would diss on that same artist. He was just a whole different person online. And one time, we were young, but we were in this friend group for a very long time, and he ended up stop hanging out with us, and we are like, dude, what happened? And he said some things. Oh, I'm gonna hang out with these people now who were, druggies, who we thought were cool, and he was like, y'all just aren't cool, and straight up said that word for word. And I was just like in shock and awe, and I was like, okay, whatever. And he ended up coming back a few months later, after they used him for his money to buy alcohol and all this other stuff, and they just stopped being friends with him. And he came back and we started being friends again, and he apologized, but it was something we never really got into that much. And then yeah, he just started acting out in certain ways. And there was one time where he got this app where you can, post your reviews for, movies and shows and stuff. And I had it first and I thought it was cool. And, I told him about it and he thought it was cool. And I was like, oh, it's cool. We're both doing this. We see each other's reviews. And then he started talking about, he's like, girls love it. Like, you got to show girls that you have it. Like, look. And I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. Like, I just kind of like doing it. Like, what are we talking about showing it to girls? Like, what is this? And yeah, he just kept going down that path. And last thing I knew, as a grown person, he still acted that same exact way, lying about stuff. I caught him in multiple lies. He does it with, politics and movies he likes and shows and music. I mean, some things are just so blatant. Like some people just straight up lie about something they haven't watched. And it's like, dude, you're like in your 20s just lying just to try and be popular. Like this isn't high school. Like you're not in some clique anymore. And it just comes to this place of usually insecurity and lack of confidence. You just don't really like want to be yourself because you don't think it'll lead to good things, but when you lie it leads to good things. Oh, when I lie I'm a part of something. Like, oh yeah, we both like the same music, yeah, 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 but you're not telling them what you actually like. And it's just, I don't know, it's like if you want to be friends with that person, they're going to eventually see through that. If you want to date that person, they're going to eventually see through that. Like this just doesn't work out the way you want. And so it leads to short term, happiness, long term sadness, because you have this gratification. Oh, they like me. They like what I like too. And you're not being what you are. You're just being this conglomerate of, oh, I like this. Oh, I like this, about stuff like that you're kind of lying about. And just lying like that is just also super creepy and weird. But yeah, you do that. And then you're like, wow, I'm not being myself. And you become sad and depressed. And that happened to me before, you know, in high school when I just wasn't acting like myself and I wasn't happy and I wasn't doing things I like, such as these videos. This video, I know it might be a little cringe or rough around the edges. Someone might not like it, but I'm doing it because it's what I want to do and because what I like. I like making this video. I like just talking out loud. And I know it will be judged. I know it's not something super popular, you know? And I just think people want to be a part of something. And we always see that. And I had another buddy who, you know, we were pretty close. I would say we were best friends at one point. And he ended up hanging out with this group of people, and it just ended up changing him for the worse. And every time I saw him, he was always unhappy and complaining. And he went from this positive person, and he was just started to drink all the time. He was like, I don't even really like drinking, but it's what they do. And it's very, it sounds like almost made up in a way, because it's like, oh, it's so clear. Like, yeah, it was clear when I was doing it. It was clear to them. Like, you're lying to yourself to a degree, but it's still pretty obvious that that's not who you are. And when you speak out loud and you're like, oh, I don't really like doing it, but they do, like, you're just telling on yourself in that moment. And so, yeah, he just went down a dark path and just became a worse person towards everybody he knew. And it just, I'm not going to get, into that, but it just didn't go well for him. And so, yeah, these people who do this, and the issue is now is that I'm not gonna just keep dogging on people who are in high school. It's that a lot of those people act the same way now as grown adults. Um, those two examples. Last thing I knew, they were both still acting in ways like that. Lying, posting certain things that they clearly don't like as much. And you shouldn't just see some like, oh, a guy posts Claro, oh, he's lying, oh, he's performative, like some guys do like Claro. I like Claro, but it's one of these. Oh God, what was that? That was that hurt a little. I feel like I just cut my throat or something. Oof. But yeah, I said this video would be rough. I did warn y'all. But seriously, it's this deal where you're just kind of lying and faking, and it's like you're a grown adult, dude. Like you could have kids in a few years, and you're still lying about who you are. And like I said, this goes both ways, like male and female. I just know the male perspective more, but I know both sides do it very heavily. And yeah, I see so many people doing it. This is online. This is why you see something, that's super popular 1 month and everyone's, hopping on and everyone's talking about it and everyone's like, I love this, and then a few months later it's not popular and the other side's popular, and they're like, I always hated it, I just didn't want to say it. Because people are scared to be themselves. They want to be a part of something. They want to, and they're fine with lying to do that. A lot of people are just fine with lying. It takes a lot of growing up and maturing to do not be okay with lying. And yeah, it's just weird. It's creepy to not be yourself and to try and be friends with people or try and gain something. It's sad, it's pathetic, and like I said, it comes out of a lack of confidence. And if you're doing it, it's okay, it's understandable. Like, I get it. But you gotta just believe in yourself and you gotta just like yourself. And sometimes that's not easy. Sometimes you'll lose friends by doing that. But you'll be happier and then you'll gain better people. Or whatever's going on. Be yourself, like what you like. That's why you're here, is to be an individual. You're not here to pretend to like Taylor Swift or something. But yeah, I think people are being very performative. It's just not in the ways of, I guess, matcha anymore. And I think it's just gross and weird, and just grown adults doing it. It's just, better. You know better. And it's just kind of sad. And I feel bad for people who do it. I felt, looking back, I was sad when I would lie about stuff. I never did it super blatantly, or, I was always kind of myself. But, maybe I would hide that I liked a certain band because I knew people wouldn't care for it. Just things like that. Like, just be yourself. It's okay. Being performative is weird. Like, we all agree that's weird, and then those same people tend to do it. And we all agree that being something like acting like you don't care, like being nonchalant, it's just lame. Like, it's just so weird. Like, yeah, I don't really care. I got a bad grade. I don't really care. You know? Like, it's just like, okay, you're cool, dude. You are cool, man. But yeah, just be yourself. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, I know it's the most basic observation in the world. Just be yourself, dude. But God, performative people, they really grind like a certain part of my brain. That's just like, I just don't like them. I really just don't like them. I hate when people lie to my face. I hate when people act like they like something that they don't. It's just so strange. It's very weird. And yeah, if you're like that, I'm sorry. It'll get better. You just have to work at it. Yeah, we've all been there, but it's very childish and immature. But yeah, man, you know, whatever. Keep drinking matcha. Keep listening to Taylor Swift. See, that's why I'm so out of the loop. I don't even know what's performative anymore now. So I'm so out of that loop. But whatever you're doing, whatever you're listening to, whatever's performative right now, good on you, man. Keep going. You know, you're doing great. Sure, you're sad. Sure, you cry in the mirror a little bit. Just keep going, dude. Just keep going. You're doing great. But all right, thank you for watching. That was fun. Let me know what you think about these rambles. Is it good? Is it bad? Was that terrible? And yeah. Also, matcha's gross. Subscribe. Bye.